Hey guys, I'm Maggie from the blog backtothelandliving.com, and today I want to show you how we make maple syrup. So my husband and I have been making maple syrup ourselves for the past couple years and have really been enjoying doing it. So I want to share some tips with you on how you can make it yourself and just show you what our process is. So there are three main steps to making maple syrup. There is, first you need to collect the sap from the trees, then you need to boil it, and then you need to finish it and bottle it so you can keep it for the year. To collect the sap, the first thing you need to do is identify your trees. So there are lots of trees that produce sap that can be made into syrup, but for maple syrup you want to tap maple trees. So we have been tapping red maple and sugar maple trees. So the first step to making your maple syrup is to tap the trees. So this means drilling a hole in the tree and then putting a spile in it so that the sap will flow out. To drill a hole in the tree, we use a hand drill, but you can also use an electric drill. You just want to make sure that the hole is about 1 inch deep or just long enough for the spile to fit in, and you want the hole to be on a slight angle up so that the gravity can help the sap flow from the tree. To put the tap in the tree, you just need to push it in and then hammer it a little bit until it stays in. And then once you have the tap in, you hang your bucket on it and put your lid on, and then you wait for your sap to start flowing. So if it's a warm day, you'll likely see sap starting to flow right away, but if it's a cooler day, it might be a little bit, but it should start flowing pretty soon. Once the buckets on your trees are full, you're going to need to collect the sap, and so what we do is we use a milk carton cut in half as a funnel and a 6-gallon jug to carry it up to the house, and we store it either in the garage or in a snowbank. You just need to make sure that you store the sap somewhere that's cold so that it doesn't spoil. We store our sap usually about a week because we'll boil on the weekends and then collect sap during the week, and so as long as you keep it cold, it should be good. So once we have the sap collected, we then filter it, and we just use a filter that we buy at our farm store with all our other supplies, but you can buy them online as well. And once the sap is filtered, we then add it to our pans, and we add it to the pans first, and then we start our fire so that the pans won't burn dry. And we want to get the fire as hot as possible, because the hotter that your fire burns, the more your sap will boil, and therefore more evaporation will happen, and the water will leave the sap faster, and you'll be left with the syrup. So we boil ours in chafing dishes that we bought online on Amazon, and I'll leave a link to them below. It worked pretty well. We just put these 2 chafing dishes on top of cinder blocks and then put the fire underneath, and that allowed us to have a larger surface area than just a normal pot would. And the larger surface area allows more evaporation to occur, and that just causes the sap to boil faster and just become syrup faster. We want clear sap when we put it in. If it's gone funny color, that might impact the taste and show that it's gone bad. And we just add it to our syrup. As it boils, we gradually add more and more and keep it boiling. You'll know when the sap has boiled long enough when it starts to change color and it's getting a bit thicker, it's getting darker, and it's getting to the right temperature. We take our sap off the open fire at 214 degrees and then bring it indoors to finish it to 219 degrees, but this might change based off your location. We bring our sap indoors to finish it because we have better control over the temperature. We used a wooden candy thermometer to tell what temperature our sap was at. So on the stove, we bring our syrup to about 219 degrees Fahrenheit. If you take it too far and let it get too hot, then the syrup will crystallize and become like a sugar or burn. But if you don't bring it quite to the right temperature, then it will be runny and not the consistency you want. You'll know when you're getting close to the syrup being done when it starts to foam up. And so that's why you want a tall pot, and if your pot's too small or you have too much syrup in it, it'll just foam over the edges, which is not what you want. To avoid this, we put a wooden spoon over the top of our pot, which actually helped quite a bit. So once the syrup gets to the right temperature, we then take it off the heat and then filter it. And we do this with a wool filter. We just pour the hot syrup through the filter, and it gets out any minerals that are in the syrup and makes it nice and clear for us to bottle. It's important to bottle your syrup as soon as you take it off the heat while it's nice and hot, so that the seal on the top of the cap will actually seal. So we take it off the heat and then we funnel it into our bottles. So we just ladle it in and fill up our glass bottles. For the bottles, we use maple syrup bottles that we've gotten from friends and family, and we buy some too if we're getting low. You can reuse them year after year. You just have to buy a new cap. So we buy our caps at the farm store, and they have a new seal on them so that they'll be able to be preserved for the year. So that is how we make maple syrup. This year we made about 9.5 liters of maple syrup, which was from 25 trees being tapped for about 3 weeks long. And it was pretty good. Last year we didn't make nearly as much, so we're hoping to make even more next year. If you want to learn more about making maple syrup and about our process, you can check out my blog where I have more information on what we've done and what you can do to make it yourself. If you decide to try making some maple syrup, let me know in the comments how your experience went. And if you have tried before and you have some tips to share with anyone else, let us know and we'll be sure to check them out. So thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.